Hi, everyone on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators, and not football fans, but yeah, that too, but NBA and basketball fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts from the 2024 NBA Finals. Check it out. Well, for my thoughts for the 2024 NBA Finals, this was a sweet, sweet victory. Boston's first championship in 16 years for the Boston Celtics, and actually the first championship around the Boston, New England area since the Patriots in 2018. But you gotta go back. Well, not excuse me. But after what we've been through with the post Tom Brady era for the Patriots, the playoff disappointments for the Bruins, and of course since 2018 Red Sox, they've been a little bit mediocre here and there, except for 2021. I think they made it to the ALCS. It's just getting this victory was a really special moment. And this is something we really needed So you could say the 21st century Boston sports scenes continues with the Celtics winning it this year. But you can also go back to 2013 when they got the draft picks. The 2013 offseason when Danny Ainge picked up two number one draft picks from 2016 and 2017 from the Brooklyn Nets. And they got Tatum and Brown out of that. Brown in 2016 and Tatum in 2017. Ironically, for 2017, they traded down for that draft pick. And they ended up getting Jason Tatum anyways. And they build on the success in the rebuilding mode, but they still kept knocking on the door, and there's no luck. Especially in the younger age when they were facing LeBron James. That weren't pinned out the way it did. And of course, you got, you're going to deal with Jimmy Butler from 2020, from 21 and 22 and 23. Well, is it 20? No, like 2023, excuse me. But, and pretty much this year with Indiana. But, of course, we've been knocking on the door, we just couldn't get the door to go through. And we finally went to the finals a couple years ago, but we fought against Golden State with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson in there. So, to say the least, the Celtics finally knocking on the door was well worth it. Now, in all the NBA fans around the world saying, get rid of Brown and Tatum, it's not working out, there we go. Instead of doing that, we got rid of Robert Williams and Marcus Smart for Chris Porzingis and Derek White. And that was a gutsy move on their part. And they ended up being on top of the NBA world as what they did now. You got to go back to that and say, oh, look, why did they wanted to get rid of Tatum and Brown? No. They stuck with it in their NBA champs. So, to say the least out of that, this was a championship we desperately needed right now. I know we've been winning championships since the 2000s, with 6 with the Patriots, at least 3 with the Red Sox, and 1 with the Bruins, and now twice with the Celtics, including last night. So, to say the least out of that for the Celtics, you can say all you want, you hated it, was probably the worst finals ever and stuff like that, you have an easy path to the finals. No path is easy the way to the playoffs. I don't care what sport it is, no path is an easy path to the finals, to the championship, or anything like that. So, I don't care what anyone thinks about that, But, to say the least, for the Celtics, it all started like a year ago when, in 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, when Tatum got hurt, let on Jaylen Brown, didn't pin out the way it did, and they lost to Miami. Sure enough, roles reversed, And during that offseason, we ended up getting Derek. I think we got Derek right before that. But we ended up getting Chris Porzingis in return, and we got Drew Holiday in there out of Milwaukee. So we got to think about that one. So, and this is Drew Holiday's second championship he got. So this is kind of like a thing they needed to do. And instead of trading Tatum and Brown, like I mentioned, they got Marcus Smart to get Porzingis, And I think it was not Porzingis. I think it was Drew Holiday. My bad. I think it was vice versa on that. But anyways, for say the least out of that, getting rid of Robert Williams and Marcus Smart, they were loved here, which I liked them too. But it was a trade that needed to be done, and without that trade, we wouldn't be champs right now. But the two key factors was in 2013 when Danny Ainge traded Kevin Garnett and Brown. That's when that kind of flipped the switch out of that. People need to understand that that's how we were where we were now because of that. Well, and hard to say. It was probably the most dramatic moment in a long time. It's been at least 6 years since we got a championship in Boston with the Patriots winning it. It was something we needed. No, you can all say that we won too many championships, yada yada, but still, this was something that it was a special moment, And I got to admit, I haven't cried recently when Brady's Patriots Hall of Fame and the Celtics winning a championship in a long time. I mean, I haven't got that emotional since the Celtics in 2008. And of course, I take that back, probably the 2016 Patriots when they came from behind to beat Atlanta. So that was probably my two emotional moments right then and there. So I think a lot of people know them. I mean, some do, some don't. Been a basketball since I was a really kid. That was the sport that got me the love of sports right now. Was basketball. Following seeing Kevin Garnett with the Minnesota Timberwolves and seeing the Celtics in the miserable years in the 90s. That's how I became a basketball fan. And I got to admit, I was a basketball fan before a Patriots fan, so that's vice versa on that. But anyways, back to the Celtics though, but in versa. This was a championship that was desperately needed. I don't know what would have happened if Dallas would have won that championship. There would have been more criticism for Tatum and Brown. They would have fired Joe Mazzulla, but, they stuck with it. And without them sticking with it, they wouldn't be champions right now. The Celtics just said, you know what, we're not going to listen to the critics, we're going to stick with our guns, and that's what they did. And because of that, we are now have the most championships, passing the Lakers, winning the 18th championship right now. You can say that the Lakers are the better franchise if you want. That's fine with me. But you know what? It all matters when you win championships, when it matters the most. And I believe that's what the Celtics did last night. They answered the call, and they got it. So, they probably heard enough crap after last 6 years, knocking on the door, and that was it. You know what? But it was just a really special moment. But it just could be a new dynasty coming in the New England area with the Celtics. Possibly, yeah. It could be. They're both, Tatum and Brown are still young. They can produce numbers. But if Al Horford retires, they can use another guy who can help out with the veteran side, maybe with that. But, to say the least, if anything, if we need another veteran guy to replace Al Horford when he retires, especially Al Horford, who's been in there for 17 seasons, he never got an NBA championship until last night. So, props to Al Horford for getting a championship. He was a great player for Atlanta all these years, but he wasn't getting it done in there. So, he ended up getting traded away. I believe it was Oklahoma City first. So, I think it was Oklahoma City, it was the Celtics first. Then he went to Oklahoma City. Then he went to Philadelphia. Then he came back here. I apologize. But, but to say the least, Al Horford's been fighting to get that championship for the last 17 years, and he finally got it. So, props to Al Horford. Am I going to go to the victory parade? I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to make it there. I mean, things been a little great as of late. I've been trying to get some friends to come along. But, I'm going to probably be there. I might do a live video on Facebook. I don't know yet. But, I haven't decided what I wanted to do. So, anyways, I just want to have a little thought process about the Celtics winning it all. Was this the worst championship? If you're not a Celtics fan, you'll probably say yeah. But if you're a Celtics fan, you're going to say this was a great moment. It was worth the 16 years to get it. So, are we gonna is this Celtics group gonna win more championships? It's a possibility, yeah. Are they gonna become a dynasty? That's a question mark, to say the least. Because, we got Indiana on the rise, we got New York on the rise on the eastern side, and of course, with Dallas on the western side, of course, then down the road, you can put Oklahoma City on the rise too. So we got some really talented teams coming up on the rise too. And of course, I would probably say maybe San Antonio with two coming up too. So maybe with San Antonio. But to say, and of course, you can't leave out Denver, who were the champions in 2023. And of course, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up. So we got some teams coming knocking on the door right now. So if I could say this, and of course, I can't leave out Philadelphia. I apologize for Philadelphia. But anyways, to say the least, do we have a shot? There's a maybe. If there's maybe other teams could be on the rise too, yeah, like I mentioned. So all we can do is get focused on the draft and see what we can do in this offseason and get back where we are. Will I like to see the Celtics win again? Absolutely. But I like to see other Boston teams to win, like the Bruins and hopefully the Red Sox if they're on the wild card spot right now. But anyways, I can't. The only team I can't see right now is my Patriots, which that's another topic for another time. Which I'll get to my early NFL predictions coming in August after my concert for Metallica. So, anyways, yeah. That's my thoughts about the Celtics and the Boston sports teams right now. Until then, as of right now, I'll see you guys really, really soon. Until then, rock out, stay hydrated, beat the heat, and be careful in the heat.